Students, we have started lesson trade yesterday and we have completed half of the lesson. And today, let's complete the remaining part of the lesson. Okay, just before that, we'll go to the quick recall what we have studied yesterday. Students, we have seen yesterday the trade lesson, how the product comes in the market from producer or consumer to the consumer. What is the process there in the process of this trade that we have seen yesterday? We have also studied about the concept of trade. What is trade? That is buyer and seller sells the good respectively. The process, it is called as the trade. We have also seen yesterday that whenever the product, it creates the demand in the market, and then the producer and the manufacturer has to work on it to satisfy the demand. So how the demand is created and how the producer produce the good, so that we have seen. We have also seen yesterday about the age-old concept, that is the barter system, how in the ancient period the trade was done through barter system. In this, there was an exchange of goods for the goods because that time the currency was not there. But due to some limitations, like the proper estimate was not able to be find out, so that is how the currency started. Then we have also seen the currencies, main currencies of some of the countries. We have seen about the type of the trade, that is the visible and invisible trade. Now, visible means what we can see, we can touch the good, that is the visible trade. And the invisible trade means the services which you will get in exchange of money, that is the doctor and all giving the treatment. Even the teacher teaches you in the class or in the online class, that is also the one type of service. Means you cannot take that service in the kilos and dozens, but actually you are getting the advantage of it. So this is the invisible trade that we have seen. We have also seen the trade on the basis of quantity of the goods and on the basis of extent of trade region. In that we have seen separately of on the basis of the goods, that we have seen wholesale trade as well as we have seen retail trade. Okay, and on the basis of extent of region, we have seen domestic trade and international trade. The domestic trade is within the country's boundary. It is called as the domestic trade, from one region to other region, from one city to another city, from one state to another state. That is comes in the domestic trade. We have also seen yesterday, students, the international trade, that is very complex trade. Okay, this is between the two countries, two or more countries. It is an international trade. In that, separately, we have learned the concept GDP, that is the gross domestic product. We have also seen what is India's GDP, that is 2.87 trillion. As well as we have seen, we have covered some of the things which were not there in the textbook, that is like the population of India, 136.64 crores. And even we have just had a review of Mumbai's population, that is 1.84 crores. Then we have also seen about import. What is import? When country buy goods from other country to meet the needs of the people from its own country, it is called as an import. And what we have also seen export, that when we sell the other country, when we sell the products from our country to other country, that is called as the export. Okay, we have seen India's export and import relations with the other countries. We have seen the partners, India's import and export partners, and what actually India is exporting and importing to the other countries. So remaining part of the lesson trade that we are going to see now. The last part was that was we have completed was export. Now we'll move to the next slide, that is the balance of trade. Page number 70, balance of trade. Now, what is this balance? Now, by the word only, we can get some idea, something like balancing. So let's now the difference we can see. Export it is at value the specific period. It is called as the balance of. Okay, one is unfavorable balance of trade. In your textbook, also see by the figures are given. From that, you can make out actually. And the third one is a balance. So first, we'll go to the unfavorable balance. Unfavorable balance of trade. Figure 9 itself, you can make out that the values are not same over here. That means actually the value of import means we are buying many things from other countries, exporting other country a few things. So that is not favorable for our country, for the growth of our country, for the economic development of our country. So it is called as the unfavorable trade. Now, for example, if we buy, now I'll give you one example. This is just an example, not an approximate figure. Okay. If we buy many things from the country spending about 5 crores. Okay, if we buy many things from other country, think about a worth of 5 crores, and we export means we sell other countries our own product that will be of only 2 crores. That means 3 crores we are in loss, so we don't get the foreign currency more than what we have invested. So that is not favorable for the economic growth. So this is called as the unfavorable trade. So when we are importing many things from other, and when we are exporting a few things, we are in the loss, we are not able to get more foreign currency. That means it is called as a unfavorable trade. So we'll go to the next slide. Okay, moving ahead to the next slide. Now here in this slide, you can see is that our export is more than our import. See the export, it is, the arrow is, you can see it is going up. Okay, the going up, by the line you can see how the export it is given over here. Now you can see the export is more than our import. We are selling a product. Now for example, if you same example, if you consider, for example, we are selling a product worth 5 crores to the other country, and buying only 2 crores worth commodities from the other country, means we'll be in the profit of 3 crores. Now, which is very good for factor for the economic growth of our country. Now, which is very much favorable for the country. So this is called as the favorable trade. When a value of export is more than the value of import, it is called as the favorable balance of trade. Okay, means favorable balance of trade means what? When a value of export is more than the value of import, it is called as the favorable balance of trade. So two types of trade we have seen. We have seen unfavorable balance of trade, and we have seen favorable balance of trade. So we'll see the third one. Now see here, this is the balance trade. A balance trade means what we import or buy from the other country. Okay, what we import or buy from the other country, same commodities, same worth commodities. We are actually exporting, which are 5 crores. As we sell to other country, the product will be of like 5 crores. Means as we have taken the example, same quantity we are going to get from them, and same quantity we are going to give them. It is a balanced trade. You can see here in the slide itself, import is there one side and one side export is there, but both the two sides are balanced. So that is the favorable condition, no loss, no profit. So it is a balanced trade. It is the favorable condition. Okay, now how you can explain it? When the value of export and import is almost the same, you can see here in the figure itself. See, when the value of import and export, those are in the same way, it is called as the balanced trade. So these are the types of the balance of trade. What we have seen in the balance of trade? We have seen unfavorable balance of trade, we have seen favorable balance of trade, and this is balanced trade. So all the three things we have seen. So let's go ahead. Now, moving ahead, let's go to the a different concept, but it's related to the trade. That is the International Trade Organization. This concept is very much related to the trade itself, import and export, and this is the International Trade Organization. What are these organizations? And carrying out the trade at international level is a complex process, means it is very difficult process. Complex means what? It is very difficult process than the domestic trade. Carrying out the trade in the domestic, that is within the borders of the country, is not that much difficult. But when the trade is carried out between the two different countries, then it becomes a very complex process. Now, we have learned yesterday about international trade taking place between two or more countries. Okay, so in this type, the factors which are there, different factors which are there, which influence this trade, like the economy of the country, government policies are there, market laws are there, then judicial systems are there, even the currency is different of each country, then languages are also different spoken in each of the country. Influence, all these factors are influencing or affecting the trade, because each country will have its own currency, own languages, and other different government policies. So next very important point in this is the political relation between two countries also influence the trade between themselves. Sometimes the obstacles in the way of trading affect the mutual relationship adversely. Now, what type of obstacles comes when this type of international trade is there between the two countries? Different types of obstacles can come. Now, for example, a recent example you can take of your own country, that is our own country. We can take an example. For example, nowadays lot of dispute is going on in between India and China on the issue of the border. So Indian government has to stop the permission of some brands and mobile apps. You must have seen, like India had stopped giving permission of some of the using of some of the Chinese app. Okay, it has affected the Chinese economy over there. However, India cannot totally ban this. Now, India has started banning Chinese products, started banning some of the Chinese app, but totally India cannot ban these products, because what is the reason behind that? Why India cannot stop all this banning all these products, Chinese product? Because there are some conditions which are signed before, like whenever you're signing a foreign treaty, whenever you're signing a foreign policy or business deals, like you have to sign some of the protocols, you have to follow some of the protocols, and you cannot stop this type, like whenever the war like situation come, you cannot totally withdraw those things. So that is why still some trade is going on between India and China because of this protocol. Now, coming back to the same paragraph, to avoid this kind of things, now these disputes are there, these obstacles are there in the trade. Now, who will make a compromise or who will take a necessary steps to carry on the trade smoothly? So, to avoid this kind of things, the International Trade Organization came up to smoothen and justify the process of trade between the two countries. So why this international organization came up? To smoothen the process of trade between the two countries. Economic standing, some international organizations are formed. This organization works towards the felicitations and the growth of international trade. They work for the growth of international trade. Now, from your textbook also you can see below the International Trade Organization, some organizations are given here. In this slide, you can see the headquarters of an ASEAN, that is the Association of Southeast Asian Nation. Okay, where it is situated? It is situated in Jakarta, Indonesia, Indonesia country. Okay, it was formed on 8th August 1967. And how many members are the how many countries are the members of this organization? 10 countries. Now, which are they? Those are Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. Now, certain aims and functions are there of this ASEAN organization. What are these aims and functions? It is given on your page number 71 of your textbook. That is expanding social and cultural harmony along with an economic growth. Along with an economic growth, they are also expanding social and cultural harmony. Then in short, I'm telling promoting peace. The organization also works in promoting peace and promoting tax favor of the trade growth in the member states. So moving ahead to the next slide. So even this organization, it is given in your textbook. Next is the head office of the World Trade Organization. This name you must have heard many a times. Okay, this is located in Geneva, Switzerland. And how many countries are the member of it? There are 164 nations, countries which are associated with this particular organization. These countries are associated. Maximum numbers of these members are there in this WTO. If you seen all the organization, maximum numbers of the members are there in this particular organization, that is 164. Even India is the member of World Trade Organization since January 1995. Even India is also the one of the member of this organization. Now, what are the aims and functions of this organization? Is to promote and platform for negotiation. Negotiation means talking and solving the problems, to handle the differences between the trade and monitor the trade policies, to keep and watch. Monitor is to keep and watch on the trade policies, to provide and technical assistance and training, to provide and technical assistance and training for the remaining remaining countries which are there in this organization. Now, moving ahead, another type of the logo you can see over here. This is an European Union, EU. Now, how many members countries are there? Here, 28 members countries are there, and the headquarters is there in the Brussels, Belgium. Now, what are the aims of this? Established an integrated market among the member nation of Europe, then free flow of goods and services, then custom duties have to be cancelled on the exchange of goods within the members, which are the members of these countries. So there the custom duties which are paid on the particular commodities are cancelled. And the euro is the currency. We have seen yesterday what is euro. We have seen which euro currency in our yesterday's slide. So euro is the currency which is also used in Germany and all. That is the currency which is established. Now, next type of organization we'll see. Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC. Here you can see on the slide the logo of Organization of Petroleum and Exporting. So 13 countries are the member nation of this, and the headquarters are there in Vienna, Austria. And the aim is controlling the international trade of crude oil. So this particular petroleum organization is works on the controlling international trade of crude oil, controlling the rates of crude oil production among the member states, and maintaining the consensus in the oil exports. So we'll go to the next. So this particular over, okay. Even this logo you must have seen many a time. That is the South Asia Association for Regional Cooperation, SARS. So even this logo you must have seen many a times. Now, where is the headquarters of this? It is in Kathmandu, Nepal. So what are the aims and function of this? Finding satisfactory solution to the common problem faced by countries in South Asia, whichever countries are there in South Asia, to find the solution for the problem of those countries. Then increasing social welfare over there, then raising the living standard and increasing regional cooperation among the member state, and to remove unrest in South Asia. So these were the aims and functions. Moving ahead, we'll go to the next type of organization. Okay. Uh, just next we'll take, just keep one of it, Asia Pacific, because we have taken Asian Association before, so I'm not going to repeat it. So this is the next, APEC, Asia Pacific Economic Corporation, APEC. So how many countries are there? There are 21 countries are there which are the members of this particular organization, and the headquarters is there in Singapore. Then the aims and functions of this organization: free trade and economic cooperation in Asia Pacific Ocean region, then promoting regional and technical cooperation among the members. So these were the aims and functions. Moving ahead to the last type of organization, that is BRICS. Now, which countries are there? This is formed by 5 countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So now we are having the dispute. In those days when this organization was formed, that time we were not having a dispute with China. So that is why we are also the member of this BRICS. Now, where is the headquarter? The headquarter is Chennai in China, and the aims and functions of is to make funds available for the growth of economies of the member, enhancing mutual economic cooperation, then strengthening economic security. So these were some of the main aims and function of this organization. Now all these aims and functions of the organization commonly go, if you have seen very minutely, all the aims and functions of all these organizations are commonly go with promoting a regional peace, enhancing mutual economic cooperation, increasing social welfare, raising standard of living, and expanding social and cultural harmony. So like this, commonly all these organizations are going with this concept. Okay, now let's move to the next slide. Now students, we have studied the different trade organization, we have studied about the trade, we have studied about what is visible trade, invisible trade, emerging trade, and international trade, and all these related to trade. In the slide itself, you can see here. Now the slide is of marketing, the next concept which is given in your textbook, that is marketing. Now what things are there are related with this marketing? Now you can see in the slide, strategies are there, means different techniques are there, advertising is there, okay, media is there which is related with the marketing, then customers are there, network is there, branding is there, different brands are there, then promotions are there, how the advertise is promoted, then business word is also comes in this marketing, then block is there, then growth it is there, price is there, sales is there. So all these particular words are related with marketing. So marketing, in short, like what it is to say, like marketing, the concept of marketing. Now, marketing, in short, to be told as the activity of showing and advertising a company's product in the best possible way. It is an actually activity of showing and advertising a company's product in the best way. Marketing is done to draw the customer's attention to the product and services available. Why this marketing is done? To draw the customer's attraction towards the product. Okay, moving ahead. Now, one beautiful example example is given in your textbook to explain the marketing concept, that is on the page number 72. Okay, students, open page number 72. That the marketing concept is given over there, and below that, see, one example is given over there, that after a hard work, one farmer's example is given. His name is Dondiba, and he is growing vegetables and other agricultural commodities, but his product could not fetch a good price. Now here in the first slide, that assume he is a Dondiba. I don't know like whether he's the Dondiba, but we can assume that he's a Dondiba. So he's actually, now you can see him in the slide. He's sitting over there, and he has displayed all his agricultural product. He's sitting in the open market, and he's not having any customers. He's sitting still over there waiting for the customer. Like, what is the situation over here? He is not fetching a good price for his product. And actually agricultural products are in such a way, like, they, you cannot keep them, or you cannot store them for many days, so they will get spoiled and the farmer will be in totally loss. So this particular farmer Dondibai is sitting in the market with all his agricultural product, but is not fetching a good price for it. Now his college son saw this situation. See how it is related with marketing. Okay, this particular concept, how it is related with marketing. His college going son is there. Nowadays, children, they are very much aware of all the internet technology and all, so they can help their parents. So this is in the same way. His college son, which was there, he saw the situation, he understood it, he studied it, he understood the reason behind, he understood that why his father is not fetching a good price for his agriculture commodities. Now what he did, he first packed the commodities in the town. Now looking at the quality of his product, they advertise the farm product and keep it in the sale for in the mall. Now if you go in the market and if you see those people, fruits and vegetables, they were very fresh, they were fresh products over there. Now if you see the same Dondiba's products are there, they are packed nicely, they are packed nicely, they are packed nicely, and they are displayed over there. Now if you go in the market, if you go in the market, fresh, in the mall also you can see over there, fresh produce is written over there. We like to buy the things which are fresh. Even people don't mind to give extra money for the things which are seen beautifully, which are packed beautifully and neatly. So in the same way, Dhondipa's fresh products are there now displayed in the mall. Now these products are fetching a good price and higher price than before. Now what we have understood from this, that an appropriate presentation of commodity is determined by its quality, its grading, and how it is presented before a customer. Like, it is very much important that how you present your commodities before a customer. Now if you go into the market and if you see those people, fruits and vegetables, they are just moving on, they are just moving on, they are just moving on, they are not seeing the quality, they are not seeing the quality. So presentation matters over here. So presentation matters over here. So presentation is the major fact over here. Now Dondiba's commodities lack this. Now this particular quality, even Dondiba's vegetables, they were very fresh. They were fresh product from its own farm. But still the Dondiba's commodities lack this. And this was understood by his son, and he made a changes over there, and this is what he has taken with the help of the concept of marketing. And this is where the marketing comes, means an act of presenting activity or product in the best possible way. Now we have seen, like, what actually is the marketing. Actually marketing means what? Marketing means a concept of presenting the activity or the product in the best possible way, means you're doing the marketing of your product, and this is how you can get a good amount of money, you can fetch a good price in the market by presenting your products in the best possible way. Now what is the importance of this marketing? Importance of marketing. Now we have seen about marketing. I think students, you must have understood because of this Dondiba's example, nice example they have given you, and I've explained you with the help of a slide. I think this was enough for you to understand like how marketing is very much related with the trade and how it is very much important for carrying on the trade activities. So let's see now what is the importance of this marketing. Now, modern industrial social fabrics, globalization, and availability of abundant choices, alternative choices means the alternatives of the different product is the structure of today's market. You know, students, today's market structure is like this. Nowadays, one thing you will get many brands are there. For example, mobiles are there, many brands are there. Vivo is there, Samsung is there, Lava is there, Moto is there, and many more which I don't know. Like, so this particular things nowadays present situation, many brands are there, then even the customers are more often confused, they don't know like what to buy and which brand to go. So that time it is very important that here the marketing plays a very vital role. So what each of the brand do, they like to present their goods, they like to present their particular mobiles or whatever goods in the best possible way by doing an advertisement and all, by telling the features, by adding an extra features to their own products so that they can attract the customers. Through marketing, one can increase business systematically. One can increase its business very systematically because of this marketing. The production can be distributed all at once in the large scale. Now, how you can distribute your product all at once in the large scale? Because looking at the advertisement, okay, whenever your advertisement, whenever the products advertisement comes on the TV and all, so many people can see that. Now people will think that buying it will create, people will think that it will be a good thing. If any type of, for example, if you take an example of any type of a soap brand, so when that soap brand advertisement comes, it is given very nicely, it is presented very nicely, so that time they feels like they using this soap, it will be very good for them, so people are attracted towards it. This will create a demand, so even the producer, even the wholesaler, even the retailer will be in the profit. Also, a defective product can be recalled from the market. Now, even if defective products are there, even the company is taking it back. The manufacturers are taking all those defective products back. They don't have to sell it to the customer. The retailer don't have to sell the defective product to the customer. He can give it back to the producer or the manufacturer of that product. In today's era means what? In the today's period, today's modern way, marketing is the vital part of trading system. So this is marketing is very important to increase the business systematically. Now, advertisement making the customers need to buy the goods are on rise. Many advertisement. If you are watching any serial, if you are watching a TV, you will find that every minute advertisement comes. So, reaching maximum customer, attracting customer to the products, and marketing comes to a customer by the products are the objectives behind this advertisement. Why these advertisements are shown? These advertisements are shown for the promotions of the business, for the promotions of that particular product, and to attract the customers to that particular product. In the recent time, information technology, the third point we are going from the slide. In the recent time, information technology and media has affected the marketing system very deeply. Even media has provided you with the apps. Media's different apps are there, like Facebook is there, short videos apps are there, then cooking videos are there, YouTube is there. With the help to gain the popularity and money, it is also the part of marketing. So on YouTube also you must have seen a different videos comes, a different videos comes, the people sometimes they share their views, sometimes they tell about their business, sometimes the cooking shows are there. So this is also comes part, comes in the part of a trade and marketing. Now, because of revolution in the field of information and technology, the whole world has become a big market. The whole world has come to be a collective big market. Through internet, we can get information about the producing taking place in the various countries. Because of the advertisement, because of the internet, we can come to know the different products which are taking place or which are manufactured in the different countries. This makes numerous options available to the customer. Means different alternatives are there. Customers can have a lot of choices for selecting the product they want. It is due to the internet the consumer can use the facilities like online trading, e-marketing, etc. Even online education is done with the help of internet. So in the marketing, in the trade, this particular thing is very, very important in your trade lesson, that is the use of internet. Moving ahead, one example is given on page number 73 of marketing. Here the example is given of an invisible flow. Okay, invisible flow developed when the product goes from the producer to the consumer. Okay, so this is given in always remember. So here what it is given, an invisible flow develops between a producer when the product goes from producer to the consumer. Invisible means this flow we cannot see, but we know like this type of flow is that the product is produced somewhere, then it is brought to the wholesale market, then from the wholesale market it goes to the retail market. So this is all invisible flow, it is there. So when the product come to the consumer, the commercial functions involved in these flows are collectively called as market. So all these commercial functions which are involved in this process are together, are collectively, it is called as marketing. The price of the commodity, sale, promotions, advertising, and distributions are the major component of this marketing. These are the major component of the marketing. See in the slide the commodity, what things are there in the production. First, what the production is done, and on the type of it classification is done. Okay, and then the based on the company's logo the branding is done. Then the product is labeled based on the quality of the product, and the packaging is done. Attractive packaging is given. Package attract the customers towards us. So we'll see in the next example. So now see here, it's an example which is given in that particular same diagram. That is an example of the rice brand. Okay, so here we have taken India Gate Basmati rice. Now here the production is given, type of a rice is there, so we have taken basmati. Then classification, even this in the rice type the classifications are there like whole, broken, dubar, etc. Then name of company means any company. Here India Gate we have taken. Then details about the quality, price, advertisement, distribution, and the last what we have seen is the beautiful package of this India Gate Basmati rice. So we'll move ahead. We have seen this example how the products are packed and labeled and marketing is done. In this way, the marketing is very important for trade. Moving ahead to the last page. Okay. Moving ahead to the last page. If a product is advertised using a wrong way, that is an incorrect information, fraudulent means or marketing or making an exaggerated statement. Exaggerated statements mean what? You must have learned this in English also. What is an exaggerated statement? Exaggerated statements mean just telling a thing which is not actually there. Just telling a thing, just overstated statement. It is called as an exaggerated. So fraudulent means making an exaggerated statement to cheat the consumer, pointing out the shortcomings of the competitors. Then the advertisement trying to lose our trust. Many a time, sometimes what happen? Any new product comes in the market. For example, any new product come in the market, and the same products, many competitors are there, and that time the producer of the product want his product to gain attraction. What he will do to gain attraction for his product? He will give the false information like by applying this cream you will turn fair in 5 days. So this type of advertisement, students, you are watching like every day it comes on the TV. But we know that this cannot be happen. Like we know like in 5 days applying the cream one cannot turn very fair. So we know about it. So this type of advertisements are given. I'm not telling about any brand, but this type of advertisements are given on the TV. Then if the people come to know like this is just in fake to attract the customer, slowly and slowly first the people they are going to buy this type of product because they want to try it, they want to see that whether a change comes in that, whether applying that cream a person will become a fair in 5 days. But after purchasing once, the person will not go to purchase it again, and slowly what happen, the trust will be lost on this product, and thus wrong advertisement, what who is doing the wrong advertisement, that particular manufacturer will be in the loss. Now to stop all this kind of things, a new term has come. And what is this? You can see on the slide, that is an Consumer Protection Act, which is called as the Consumer Protection Act. You can see here, to make the consumer aware of this Consumer Protection Act, this has come into existence. Now, what is this Consumer Protection Act? You can see here the by the logo itself, you can make out the Consumer Protection Act. You can see the people are holding their hands. That means they are ready collectively to fight against this malpractices which are being done in the field of trade. So, on July 20, 20th, 2020, recently, the new Consumer Act 2019 came into force in India. Remember, Student Consumer Act was there before, okay, in 1986. It was started in 1986. But with the new terms and with the new all policies, the new type of Consumer Act came, that is in the 20th July 2020. So some changes are made which was previously not there in the 1986 Consumer Act. This new act provide for strict penalties. Okay, strict penalties are there, strict actions are there, including the jails. Now, including jail's term for the adulteration and misleading advertisement. If any manufacturer, if any shopkeeper is doing a adulteration, for example, if the adulteration means what, adding something to the main product. For example, stones are there in the grains, or supplying the expiry date medicine in the pharmacy and all. So the consumer can file a complaint against that particular shopkeeper. So that is how the right is given for the consumer to fight against he's been cheated. Whenever he's been cheated, he can file a case, and there is also helpline number for this Consumer Protection Act. You can go against the company. You can go against the company. The National Consumer Helpline toll free number is also there for this Consumer Protection Act. That is, you can dial it from anywhere, any part of the country. Means whenever you are cheated from any of the producer, any of the retail shop, so you can file a case on this Consumer Act. And actually means the government is helping the people very positively through this Consumer Protection Act. And the toll free number is 1800 114 000 or 14404. So this is very important that people should know about it, that there is a Consumer Protection Act, and we can take help of this Consumer Protection Act to stop the corruption in our country. Government of India has provided this act to help the consumer not to be cheated. You must have also heard about the slogan. Students, you must have also heard about the slogan, that is Jago Grahak Jago. It is also a slogan of Consumer Act. You must have seen the slogan on the TV and all, Jago Grahak Jago. So it is necessary that consumer recognizes its own need and buy the goods at reasonable rate. So this was the last thing from your chapter trade. I think you must have understood what is the whole chapter. So again, we'll take a quick revision of this chapter. We'll go to the quick revision. Okay, we have seen today a balance of trade, the difference between the import and export, the value of the this country, the specific period. It is called as the balance of trade. Okay, in this balance of trade, we have seen the unfavorable trade. What is unfavorable trade is there when the import is more and the when export is less. It is called as the unfavorable trade. Also, we have seen today what is favorable trade. Favorable trade means what? When the export is more, when we are actually selling many products from our country to other country, and we are actually purchasing a less product from other country. That is when export is more than the import. It is called as the balancing favorable balance of trade. Then we have also seen a balanced trade when the value of import and when the value of export is same. It is called as the balance of trade. Okay, again we have seen the international trade organization. Some of the international trade organization we have also seen. uh, the international trade organization, different factors are also there which influence the international trade organization: economic policies of the country, currency, language over there, and sometimes the disputes are also there in the two countries. To avoid the various disputes, these international organizations have come to avoid the different dispute. In this particular thing, we have also seen the Asian, that is the Asian headquarters. It is there. Asian, this also organization we have also seen. Okay, that this headquarters is there in Jakarta, Indonesia. Then we have also seen the World Trade Organization. World Trade Organization headquarters are there in Geneva, Switzerland. Then what we have seen about the European Union, EU. The headquarters is there in Belgium, that is in Brussels. Then we have also seen the Organization of Petroleum and Exporting. The headquarters is there in Vienna, Austria. Then we have seen the SARS, South Asia Association for Regional Cooperation. The headquarters is there in Kathmandu, Nepal. Then we have seen the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation, APEC. The headquarters is there in Singapore. Then we have seen BRICS, that is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. The headquarters is there in Chennai, China. These were some of the organizations we have seen. We have seen what is marketing. We have seen how this all particular words which are the strategy, consumer, advertising, media, network, sales, promotion, branding, business growth, blogs, products, how it is related with marketing. We have seen the concept of marketing, that is activity of showing and advertising the company's product in the best possible way to draw the consumer's attraction. It is called as the marketing. We have seen also the example of Dondiba, how he used to sell his product openly when he was not getting a good price. When he started to sell his product in the best possible way, that is very neatly, in fact, he kept it sale in the market, in the mall, then he fetched a good price for it. This was one technique he applied of marketing. Then what is the importance of marketing? We have also seen the important for trade. It increases business systematically, and information technology and media also influence how it is influencing the marketing. The last which is given in your book, that is how invisible flow is there in this whole process of trade. It's collectively known as marketing. We have, for that we have taken one example of the rice brand also, that is basmati rice, that is given in your textbook. Then we have seen about the Consumer Protection Act. Consumer Protection Act also we have seen the slow logo. We have seen also the slogan of this, that is the Jago Grahak Jago. What is this Consumer Protection Act and how it works for the welfare of the society, for the welfare of the people? So that also I have told you. I think we have covered everything, and I think students, you must have understood. Thank you, students. If you're having any queries, you can ask me. Yes, Akshay. Akshay, you can unmute yourself and ask the question.